Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is Wrath of the Gods, a $15,000 tournament series sponsored by Microsoft, Boyd, as well as myself and Iron Maiden. So this is going to be absolutely sick. Today's event in particular is the second qualifier, of this series. There's total 3 qualifiers, and this event today in particular is $1,000 off that 15k total. In the blue color, we've got the one and only, you know him, you love him, this is JohnArbiter, playing as Poseidon, and on the other side, his opponent in the red, playing as the mighty Zeus. This is ForevertillDawn. You probably already know him as Punkstar, but he recently changed his name. Fellow caster, content creator, boy. Both of these are. And in fact, if you want to see the point of view streams, that's also a thing. Because currently I know JohnArbiter is streaming. Not sure about Punkstar, I haven't seen it. We'll see. Off the bat, one of the things that's different about these two gods is that Poseidon doesn't need to gather wood. But JohnArbiter still placed the storehouse very neatly between the trees and the gold mines. Now, why don't you need wood? Because you've got the lure. The lure acts as a drop-off. It is your granary at home, but it also attracts animals and spawns in some turkeys, which are actually chickens. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, you get a super early advance because of all this, even saving time building that thing, or not building it rather, as well as the wood gatherer. You can see Zeus is just so much slower with this. Hermes is already coming up for JohnArbiter. The hero is coming out of the town center, as you can make that now in Retold during the age advance. That's a Greek specialty. And I want to talk a little bit about Mount Olympus. There's this whole temple of the gods thing in the middle, which is super cool. Can't really do anything with it. I mean, you could destroy it, I guess. You won't be spawning militia. It's Zeus, so all good. No relics in the middle near the temple. Nothing to capture, it's just decoration. There's these little funnels, however, on the edge of the map that you can take for relics by the shrines. We've got Hestia's Heart, for example, for villager training time reduction, which is fantastic to boom your economy, even on one town center. We've got Skills of a Catobla Pass as well. That's going to give Myth units a bit more pierce resistance. We've got the... Oi, what was that? Bolt on the first hero, wasn't it? Yep, that's right. So, looks like ForevertillDawn is for now defending just fine. We've got the Eye of Onlu for Hippos Pissed attacks. We've got the Titan's Treasure for age up discounts, as well as includes the Titan Gate age. We've got a Chiron's Obol as well for returning some resources when you lose villagers, which is fantastic. Basically, half their cost is returned. We've got the Ankofra for free favor over time. Okay, that centaur took a beating already. Another hit goes through, that's painful. And now our Poseidon player is having to essentially fight 120 resources down. That's rough, losing the first hero like that. But at least it wasn't Atalanta, which would be much more expensive at like 270 real cost, if you account for favor as 10 resources apiece. Ooh, that centaur's of 33 health and there's no way to heal it. That's rough, buddy. That's rough. But it's gonna be a cavalry transition. I also like this little wall that we've got. And by the way, just to respond to chat questions real quick, will I be casting Divine ATP? It's not necessarily on my list right now, but after the fact, as the live games are out, I'll be happy to look into some additional casts, yes. But after this, the winner will be playing against Chemo, so that's the next one we'll be covering. And then there's a round 3, of course. We'll see what comes up there. But after the planned series, yes, I'll be covering some additionals, especially from round 3, which is best of 5s. This one is the best of 3, by the way, I forgot to add that. Alright, here's the Cav. And Theseus is back once more. There's no Atalanta, which is a little bit unfortunate. But hey, ForevertillDawn is doing a great job saving those villagers, getting them away from the cavalry, and continue to pray. And I think that's a wall off, right? With the trees having a gap, it's a little uncertain if that's actually a wall off, but it's probably close. We've got hoplites versus cavalry. And you have to remember, Poseidon's cav is faster, and you can get Lord of Horses to get them to regenerate at 0.5 per second. So these can definitely be an absolute pain. It also affects the scout, by the way. That will be regenerating to keep tabs on people. But yeah, hoplites in the direct fight will be winning rather hard, so you gotta be really careful with this one. Atalanta is out taking a bit of a beating. There's no way to heal your heroes as Poseidon, unless you get a relic for it. Plenty of ways to heal your cavalry though. You can also go up Dionysus for the heroic age and get Thracian horses as an upgrade, which will be getting them to lifesteal a little bit, so makes them a lot more potent in fights. Right, we've got a bit of movement. Our Poseidon player is moving to the berry bushes. JohnArbiter thinking that there's no point in going out there for the hunt, as it's a little bit too risky if the villagers get caught. There's now 3 centaurs, so I totally understand. Just stay safe, stay home. It may be lower gather rates from the berries as what you would get from the hunt, but you know, the villagers don't have to move. The new villagers created from the town center don't have to walk a long time, so that equalizes the situation a little bit, if not fully. Certainly not fully, but you know, it's something. And also, I'm a little bit congested today, guys. I'm really sorry if I make nasal sounds or just sound bad. It is what it is. Hopefully tomorrow is better. Theseus gets caught again. That's unfortunate. Punkstar or ForevertillDawn, I don't think he's lost any units thus far. It's a pretty big deal. Also, shout out to Wolf Studios for all the production assets. I do think the new framing looks very nice. Could even say that's hot. Ooh, Centaurs putting down hurt. One of the Hippicons is dead. Losing no villager once more. As this one survives at just 5 hit points. Oh my god. Ooh, the Atalanta is coming in, however. And the Centaurs, well, they are not gonna take kindly to that. Trying to snipe her the best they can, but she's too fast. She will be escaping from this. Finally, the villager pickoff has happened, and JohnArbiter is putting on some damage. Now ahead by 4 villagers already. How did that happen? I think Punkstar is making too many hoplites. They cost a little bit more food than they do, than Hippicons do, right? So it's a little harder for Punkstar to maintain his production, especially with fewer people on food. He doesn't quite have enough. Okay, now he has 10. That's good. But you can see there's even more coming in for JohnArbiter, as he also wants to make sure that production is constant on both his military and his villagers. Right now, he will need some kind of way to deal with those hoplites, as there's not too many archers here. I'm seeing just the 2 Toxotes. The wall will buy some time. Potentially the houses will buy some time with the militia that will be popping out from there. We'll see how that goes. But this is certainly a terrifying push. And there's no heroic age behind this. The tower research is coming through, which has been made cheaper and retold, but also towers are kind of terrible, as moving units just don't get hit whatsoever. The initial tracking is rather rubbish on those. So it does help, yes, but only if you can hit the slowest or standstill targets. Centaur is being picked up immediately. So hoplites have nothing to contest them. Medium infantry is coming in, which will be a huge boon to this group. But there's a little bit of a counter raid back home. And the Hippicons are putting in some really good damage there. The villagers are getting cut down left and right. But the town center fire plus the kitchen knives are more than powerful enough to hold. I was talking about the militia, but when you have this many centaurs, they basically get one shot. It's nasty. Well, if you account for the melee damage too from the hoplites. Still doesn't look like ForevertillDawn wants to take this on quite so directly. And essentially the situation you get from that is that he's just using his his special attacks on the centaurs to get that volley and do as much free damage as possible, as there's absolutely no cost to that but time. Now that can cause an opportunity issue, however. So these villagers are now out here with JohnArbiter. He's got a Pegasus for himself to make sure it's safe first, of course. But yeah, what that means is suddenly ForevertillDawn doesn't know. He needs to get to Pegasus himself to get information on the map. And with Hermes, you got this winged messenger tech that makes the nice pickoff, that makes the Pegasus free. So you should be going for that for sure. That's a lot of freaking centaurs, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get a count. 8 centaurs, my goodness. There's only 2 heroes to deal with them. A million cavalry, of course, but with all these hoplites around, I don't think they'll be having a great time. Oh, the hoplites might get caught here. There's enough Toxotes as well to actually put on some damage, and the heroes end up in the middle of the centaurs. The centaurs are shooting the heroes, not the cavalry, and 2 of them are already dead. We've got a really nice volley, but the heroes just keep slaughtering these centaurs. Now the last one, Theseus, will not be getting it, but too many hoplites have died for ForevertillDawn, and he's invoking ceasefire. 5 minutes peace, he says, but it's only 30 seconds, so he's not getting it. Meanwhile, these cavalry units will be healing up partially, and maybe JohnArbiter will get a chance to hit back. A town center grab is happening at the same time. Excuse me for the pause there. Very congested, as I said. Okay, we've got stables coming up for JohnArbiter as well. Even more military academies and archery ranges. We've got more centaurs. Spirited charges won't trigger. What's up with that? Oh, there's nobody praying for JohnArbiter. Oh no, he's lacking like free favor, 4 favor. That's so sad. He's not getting any of the relics so far either, so even the free favor relic can't help him. I don't think he's even checked them, to be honest. Let's check that. Let's see what they see. Yeah, JohnArbiter just doesn't. Oh, sorry, ForevertillDawn doesn't know about most of the relics. Nice use once again off the volley, but if the cap just regenerates, it doesn't matter much. JohnArbiter has not found any of the relics. It would certainly be worth putting this Pegasus on a patrol path, or rather the auto scouting feature that Retold has now added. That would be, I think, quite productive here. Atalanta has come back. And you'll certainly be needing her in order to deal with all these centaurs. There's still a lot of them. The 2 town center behind this for ForevertillDawn is helping him with catching up against that villager deficit. Whereas JohnArbiter just doesn't want to do that. So I wonder, is he just going to go heroic here? He's starting to stockpile a little bit of food. The farm transition is underway. Really not bothering with the hunt. As I said earlier, it's too risky to expose yourself like that. But this army is looking huge, ladies and gentlemen. I think a push on the town center is not entirely unrealistic, especially if Atalanta can distract. Imagine catching all these archers with the cav, but doesn't look like that will be the case. There's plenty of Toxotes though, and Atalanta does get in the back of the centaurs, taking several of them out of the equation right away just with their firepower, as they'll be shooting her, being the closest unit. But the Hippicals are getting wrecked by the hoplites. Oh my goodness. The Toxotes aren't quite focus fired on the hoplites. They were shooting centaurs, they were shooting heroes, and that's not ideal. So now JohnArbiter has lost the majority of his army. We're looking at equal armies, by the way. And there's some more triple kill. More losses for JohnArbiter. This is not great, as right now the civilian advantage is fleeting. It's not gonna last very long anymore, and the income of our red Zeus player will be getting ahead. He's also making sure to gather more and more favor, so all this extra wood is being spent very nicely In fact, the spending of Forever Till Dawn is quite admirable so far. This gold location is no longer possible to hold. Can put up another wall, yes, but will that be doing the job? Probably not. ForevertillDawn is really not eager to engage. The farm transition is underway here very nicely also as the goats have run out. Several gold mines are secured, so at the same time, as long as there's walling, should be no problem to deal with any sneaky cavalry. Whole location here has been evacuated. We've got copper shields coming in, as well as Dionysus now for JohnArbiter. So that's very, very nice to see. He will be needing that very, very badly. A fight with bronze could completely turn this around. But, you know, Forever Till Dawn is kind of getting to the similar sort of positions. With villager advantage now in play. As long as he can make some more farms. I think he has a little bit too much wood. So if he can get some more farms instead, then he'll have a timely heroic as well. But has to be really careful with that bronze, as if the cavalry and Toxotes are all fighting with bronze, I think they could actually just win. There'll also be a Hydra. Okay, there's not going to be a bronze to counter it, but rather Forever Till Dawn is going up Apollo. There will be an underworld, which could be used on this stray town center or the gold mine to catch some of the villagers. But with how quickly people react, I don't think you can just teleport on top of a gold mine. Not in a clean way. That's just not a thing. Good catch on the cav, so they'll not be bothering anyone here. Little bit of villager movement, but not much else. I think Forever Till Dawn might as well just be able to go to the Mythic Age directly after advancing and get an early Lightning Storm in. That would be a really good play. Especially if he catches a gold mine location. You guys have seen what Lightning Storm can do. It will get both the army and the villagers. And bronze, well, it does not help. So the lightning bolts do divine damage. They don't give a damn about your armor. Which is rather unfortunate, because you can't really protect against it other than with garrisons. Well, it is what it is. Got the Manticore out. And once there's several of those, they can really evaporate some archers. And there goes the underworld right on top of supposedly the villagers, but that's not gonna work with ceasefire being available. So essentially JohnArbiter is doing what he can to buy time for this cav to regenerate a little bit. He will have several upgrades done as well, including Thracian horses, as well as heavy archers, which are a huge boon to this army. He will have Hippolyta out, and he's running behind this wall. Hell, he could have potentially made a fortress, but he doesn't quite have the gold right now. So maybe not. Is this his only gold mine? Yeah, he's not gathering from the one back here. And also, meanwhile, Forever Till Dawn has just gotten the third town center, which most certainly can't be afforded by JohnArbiter. He's just left. Forever Till Dawn is just gone. He doesn't want to fight against bronze. Understandably so. Yeah, he's not gonna bother with this. He's up at town center. He doesn't need to worry right now. Although the villager count is similar. The problem with that is, yeah, you might have the extra town center, right? But if your army is big, which it is, then you'll be blocking access to making villagers. If you're full pop, you can't make any. So you can be behind in town centers and an army, but actually pump out the bigger economy and thus putting you ahead. It's ridiculous, I know, but that's how it works. It's really a balancing act, ladies and gentlemen. We've got bronze coming in. however, and these centaurs are completely caught off guard. They're having to run around. The fortress is trying to come up here, but the Toxotes could be ravaging those villagers. The Hydra is going to town already at 2 heads, which gives it 60 hack attack and quite a bit of crush as well, although it doesn't matter. For the army, Jason is gonna take it out. And we've got the Toxotes on Toxotes action. The blue army absolutely getting rid of the red one. And ForevertillDawn is in a world of trouble, but he has 3 town centers, right? So rebuilding the villagers should be no huge issue. Future units can be just garrisoned into the buildings. As that happens, we don't have any Peltas as far as I can see, but he's getting started on that now. And with some extra hoplites as well, and just remaxing from here should be more or less fine. Now, there's a little bit too much food in the bank, right? So making a market somewhere wouldn't be the worst. Let me see. There is a market, so there's a possibility of selling some resources to jump Mythic. But JohnArbiter, being maxed, every resource he gathers is going into the bank, ladies and gentlemen. So right now, building a fortress, and after that, he could be going Mythic himself. Get an earthquake on an important location, and push it real hard. Meanwhile, the buildings will be just slowing this army down, as JohnArbiter decides to fight them directly. The army is still very tiny here for ForevertillDawn. He has to be super careful, as the other one essentially doubles his. But at least the villager count is similar, so that's not too bad. Hera is clicked in. As predicted, there were some sold resources for sure. Let me see, actually, can we... Yeah. There's trading going on right now. I like the fortified town center idea and the bronze armor and the stone walls. That will make this a whole lot closer to impenetrable, but you really need a place to hide this army for when lightning storm hits, otherwise things are gonna get ugly. And the mission for ForevertillDawn is just attack this gold mine, right? There's only so many garrison slots available, and lightning storm is gonna get the villagers, he's gonna get the fortress, heavily damage the town center as well, and take out the army, except everyone that garrisons. There's a lot of Peltas, so those Toxotes aren't gonna have a good time anyway. Just a matter of making hoplites. Hephaestus is gonna be the pick from JohnArbiter, so he's heading into that late game. But let me tell you, Medusa are really good. So you're probably not going to see any significant number of Colossi at all. And instead it's gonna be all about those armory upgrades and using plenty vaults after plenty vaults. Because once you have a really solid core army with defensive buildings up, and you start adding in Medusa with all their upgrades, my goodness. We've advanced through Apollo as well, so you can get Healing Temple, which will heal 3 people at the same time. So if you got some spots to retreat the Medusa into, and let me tell you, they are fast. They can escape the melee heroes easily enough, except Atalanta. That's a really powerful force right there. Hera is coming in, however, so let's focus on what actually is happening, which is going to be Lightning Storm. The Centaurs have been evaporated, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot of cavalry coming up as well. The infantry is doing a good job going off to face the cavalry, but we've got Lightning Storm, and there are already not many units left. JohnArbiter is trying to split out of it, but everything is getting wrecked, even villagers. So many Toxotes corpses there, and actually the extra buildings have helped to tank this. So it's not that terrible actually, but he's still down like 50 population, ladies and gentlemen. There's gonna be a lot of hoplites. Helipolis have been queued, and the Mythic Age and late Heroic Age upgrades for ForevertillDawn are all coming in at the same time. It's actually too much stuff for this bar that we've got. Fortified town centers as well, so he's gonna be able to get to that population level, but ceasefire is kind of saving JohnArbiter right now for the moment. Quite a lot of cav have been pumped out, so that's looking not so bad. Going after that fortress now with the hoplites. They will be replaced, no problem. Forge of Olympus is coming in eventually, but it's gonna cost like 20 favors, so that will be a hot second. Not enough hoplites here to take down the cavalry though, and the archers get absolutely wrecked. Wow. Maybe Poseidon is in, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, the lightning storm is a problem, but Punkstar, ForevertillDawn actually doesn't have enough going on behind this to deal with the cav. That was a really good attack with the cavalry wraparound. And this is 235 population, so they can potentially take the town center, but maybe not with that many hoplites around. I wouldn't recommend this right now. Yeah, just running around, causing havoc, making our Zeus player not attack him is good enough. We've got iron shields, mail, as well as weapons coming in. And further villager kills as well. So this is looking rather good, I think, for our Poseidon player. The heroes have been pumped out as well, so they could be helping out with this attack. Even Polyphemus is here, and he's a bit of a chonker. He can fight against buildings somewhat. A lot of the cavalry is being lost, but more is coming in. And next up, we should be seeing some trade from here, ideally. This is a really good spot for a market, to here. You can see ForevertillDawn is already doing this. So, you know, certainly nothing is decided just yet, right? But that previous fight was rather good. And Colossus is caught and taken down by a combination of the Medusa and the Larfin. It's really brutal stuff. And you know, with how much wood and favor there is in the bank for ForevertillDawn, I would love to see a pivot to Mass Medusa, actually. But I think he's got much more immediate concerns. Why are we making Hippospist? There is 0 infantry coming out of JohnArbiter. You shouldn't be doing that. Hoplites, 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 get champion. That's it. But yeah, you gotta make hoplites. These Hippospists are actually worse than the hoplites for tanking archer fire as well. The hoplites are very health efficient when it comes to their cost and population. So that is what I would love to see more. Oh, the town center is actually getting sieged down by the Helipolis. The villagers have not been pulled to take down the siege weapons, and this is now going down. Bit of a decent counterattack. Polyphemus also getting caught here by a handful of units, and the town center fire will be taking him down eventually if he doesn't leave. Either way, he'll be super low health. Cav is looking for another hit. Not sure it's gonna be happening. Why are we making Prodromos? There's no Cav. I'm so confused. Okay, in the original game, Prodromos used to do bonus damage against siege weapons. That's no longer the case. They are literally just anti-cavalry. Now granted, there are more units tagged as cavalry than before. Even chariot archers and stuff like that. It doesn't make any sense to make them against hoplite archer based composition. Just like the Hippospist don't make sense against Hippeus and Toxodes. Miskick probably. I agree. It's not many, so it must be. Looks like JohnArbiter is just dominating. He's staying at full pop, picking off these units one by one, and he just has a worse economy. Sorry, just had a better economy than ForevertillDawn, so he's able to keep up this spot forever, pretty much, as the caravans and the villager retraining takes up all the food economy of ForevertillDawn, and he gets raided on the farms constantly, pulling these villagers off work. And that's a huge issue. He won't be able to remax, and a full army is now coming in to take him out. It's really scary. We also have Hetyros, and as there's more and more fortresses added, these guys will be doing tremendous work. You can already see them getting a really good amount of splash damage there, but the game is over as JohnArbiter has gotten it done. Very nice. He wins all the categories except most resources. Pretty good game one today. But I think ultimately what tells the story is not this bar with the all resources collected, but rather the kill death. I think that was rather good, right? Where is the statistics? Kill death. 292 versus 177 kills. That's insane. That's why he won. Welcome to Midgard for our game 2 in the blue color. Going in fast forward so that we can catch up with the actual game. This is JohnArbiter playing as Loki. On the other side, our red Hades player. This is ForevertillDawn. He's on match point. He needs to win. Otherwise, he out. The Zom comes down early on. Already deciding to protect this one main base. Both players, of course, going for the Dockerinos. This map was actually ForevertillDawn's pick because the losing player does get to pick the next map. A little bit of advantage, a little bit of potential for comeback right there. I think that's really nice stuff. All right, the fishing ship goes for the distance spot, but spots this one also. This is definitely something you should be taking. But it wasn't the best of fortune when it came to finding the initial area. Usually the corners are pretty rich, but behind the players, I've seen this trend that there's just not as much fish as there could be. It's usually a pretty empty area behind the players, and then as you expand around the edges, you get more and more fish. Hell, these whales are even going out. The orca are even going out of the map. It is what it is. Flat Earth, by the way. Just saying. Now we should have a relatively quick H2 setup here from JohnArbiter. I think he wants to slap down a temple as soon as possible on one dock and just pressure. Maybe during the age up he will be slapping down some extra docks as well, but when you put 10 villagers on hunt in addition to your fishing, oh my god, it's a single fishing ship. I just noticed. What's going on? I'm scared. I'm so scared. You know, ForevertillDawn will still have a pretty reasonable age advance time as well, so I don't think you can put on too much pressure. And it's Hades, so what damage are you hoping to do in this scenario, right? There's a double sentinel at least shooting at you, and if you get too close, then the town center as well. So we got the Forseti advance. There's not going to be an undermine even to take care of the towers. Which also means that our Hades player can upgrade towers to help further defend against any early aggression. With how heavily you're distributing in these scenarios for wood and gold, that's going to be very easy to afford also. And that's a lot of fishing ships, by the way. The second dock is coming now up. Yeah, really good read by ForevertillDawn on what's going on in this one. And he's now confirmed it with the scout. I wonder what he's actually seen though. Let's take a look. Okay, so he would have seen that there's not too many fishing ships, only 2. So that's already immediately a tell that there's not enough fishing ships being made, and all you gotta do is hold on to the alive, get your heroes out, defend, and make more docks. The third one is coming in, and there should be a 4th one at some point later down the line, maybe even just here, to really double down and secure this location. Or the other thing you can do is just put it in between because there's already a fishing patch here. So yeah, 4 docks as predicted. You don't really need more, you can make more, but you don't have to. So from here on out, will we see some triremes? I would say don't do it. That's just 3 fishing ships. It's literally not worth it to shut that down. Just get the land army out. It's gonna be fine. Ajax finds the system of Bast. That's gonna make villagers a little cheaper. Got the Fetters of Fenrir. That will give villagers higher attacks. Got the Canopic Jar of Imseti, which will reduce infantry training time. And the Ship of Fingernails for food trickling. Well, guys, the Norse army will be ahead for the next few moments. But if we're just gonna see an age jump from our Greeks and they get that Hippa's pissed, then any infantry-based composition is gonna suffer significantly. But right now, I think you just make hoplites against this, and maybe don't take it on directly. That's a little bit too much. Might be able to get a berserk kill there, but it's really not worth it. I don't like ForevertillDawn moving out here. He's not omniscient like us spectators, so he won't know everything about his current predicament. But hey, there's plenty of production coming in. And he's still stockpiling some resources at least. The fishing economy has been pretty great. So far, it's not resulting in a population advantage in any way. Except for the fishing ships, of course. The villager count here does not take those into account. Something to think about. But as hoplites and toxotes get made, this is gonna equalize rather quickly. So many dwarves. The army is now looking to fight this off. Shouldn't be a problem, especially with restoration available. But you do want to keep that for the next age, because no doubt that Loki will get to heroic, even with a small army. Oh, Penacounters! Let's see if they can shut down the fishing a little bit. JohnArbiter does react quickly, and the pierce damage from the dock hurts these guys a lot. There's no defenses nearby, other than the sentinels, which are gonna take care of this. As long as the units stand still, they'll get hit. And the other smaller group is getting bullied. A trireme was made as well. And now you can start seeing the economy having kicked in. Significant population advantage suddenly for ForevertillDawn. Once again, the harassment plays are coming through. We've got copper shields as well as the dwarven breastplate, which is an interesting choice here. There's not that many. Oh, there's a lot of berserks actually. Okay, so that will help a little bit. We're just getting bullied somewhat, but it's not too bad. And ForevertillDawn is almost ready to click up to heroic. Smaller army, yes, but under all this cover fire, they'll be more than victorious. So a little bit of idle time is all this army managed to cause so far. Now having shields is going to be nice though, especially for the next age. But with JohnArbiter just not having food income, this is going to be a pain point. Over ecoing definitely on gold. You don't need 21 dwarves on this thing. Some of them should be doing something else. It's understandable that you make dwarves here as Loki, even though they're expensive. Spending so much on food units like berserks and heroes that you just have the spare gold, right? It makes sense. Aphrodite is coming in. She's gonna get a curse added into the god power pool. And then that can take care of a lot of the berserks in the next upcoming fight. Also during flaming weapons, not a worst idea, but I do think you want to get the fight early rather than later. Got the healing spring with this town center location. JohnArbiter trying to get further ahead. He's looking okay in terms of the population. But meanwhile, these fishing ships have been working, and the heroic age is just not going to be in. We got medium hoplites as well as medium toxotes coming up, as well as the weapon upgrade. And we've got Vaults of Erebus that will provide a gold trickle to our Hades player. Taking out the house is not the worst idea. They're pretty weak. It's quick work. And with the two god powers available as well as an Nemean Lion Stun, this should be a really good fight. Oh, the piggies. Piggies are in. That's a lot of freaking piggies. 9 of them. Wow. Okay, that's a significant number of berserks converted. And suddenly the population is not looking so hot anymore. 133 to 118, and the Hippospists are gonna be made. There's no heavy infantry queued up just yet. Can't afford it anyway. And you probably don't want to really attack here under the town center. But some decent pickups have already happened. Unfortunately for that Achilles, he's going down. Well, that's fine. As long as some villagers can be killed here, that's more than good enough. Toxotes idled for a moment there. What was that all about? But plenty of Toxotes in a choke point. You can't really do much about it. Like I said, restoration will be available. The hoplites will be holding the line. The Toxotes are picking off these units without any significant issues. And we've also got some Hippospists joining the fight now. That'll be great against these heroes. The Einherjar spawn was nice and helpful with the boost, but the Greek army is just far too large. And I think Forever Till Dawn has absolutely crushed here. Look at that, 145 population to 80. How can you possibly come back as a Loki? Not being up in age, not having the fishing economy behind this. Now, this town center will be taking out a few of these weak units, especially if target fired. Doing a pretty good job of that, but definitely should be picking off the weak Hippospists and hoplites and stuff like that. You gotta constantly retarget there. And that way you can get a lot done. Suddenly the population is starting to equalize a little bit. There's still like 400 health on this thing, but rapidly dropping even with all this support. And now that the TC is dead, the army can actually fight. For our Greek player, a lot of production is coming in behind this. The gold miners are very happy over there too. And it looks to me that this will be once again a Greek victory in this battle. JohnArbiter will be having to pull a rabbit out of the hat. Oh my god, there's no hat anymore. The villagers are all dead. So many got killed at the second town center, it was definitely not paying for itself. And what you can do after this, if you're Forever Till Dawn, you can just take this town center yourself. You can benefit from the healing spring for now and just get all your boys back to full. Destroy all these buildings, it's plenty of damage, it's totally fine. Get some more Hippospist out, of course, with heavy infantry ideally. But I will say you have to protect the vills. Okay, that's happening now. We've also got the heavy ranged soldiers coming in. So things are moving for our Greek player. For our Norse, it's it's pain. It's just pain, nothing else. Holding on to dear life here. And pain's over. Forever Till Dawn wins all the categories, unsurprisingly. The second town center was very ambitious there. And it was just never gonna happen, really, was it? The kill death is about as good as the other game was, but the other way around. So we've got ourselves a series, ladies and gentlemen. 1-1 is our new score. Very nice. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Blue Lagoon. In the blue color, playing as Thor, this is JohnArbiter. And on the other side of Blue Lagoon, going in fast forward so we can catch up with the game, this is Forever Till Dawn, playing as Isis. Now, let's talk a little bit about the matchup itself. We've got the Dwarven Armory build order, which is essentially going to allow you to get these early armory upgrades. Copper armor, copper shields, weapons, in that order. And then the hammer thing here. Oh, the priest actually gets scared away by a dwarf and a berserk. And JohnArbiter is actually trying to get the kill on that. So we'll talk about strategy after this. Ooh, I think he's gonna get it. Holy crap. The priest is actually dead. Shanked with a kitchen knife. Arbiter makes a house on the spot. So if it's gonna be actually a vast classical age advance, this house is definitely there, ripe for the picking. But we've already got the second armory upgrade coming in with copper shields. That's going to generate another dwarf here from the dwarven armory. That's one of Thor's greatest bonuses. And it basically allows you to make very few regular gatherers and thus not spend food, but rather just make pretty much all dwarves. And you can save on the on the resource drop-off time and walking by using your berserk to go after the huntable animals and just forcing them under your town center. So fantastic stuff there. And you're going to use this for a later advance and a absolutely phenomenal economy behind it. Now Bast is being clicked in, so it's going to be completely traditional ISIS. Before the game I was talking a little bit about maybe Anubis is a pick to consider. Just because if you do that, then you're going to get the super fast Anubites, which are super hard to catch. And get to put on some damage and prevent the 4 player from hunting outside. One of the things that 4 doesn't get a lot of because of all this construction work with the Berserk is scouting information, especially if you don't make a second Berserk, which would be expensive to be fair. So you don't know a whole lot about the map. You're going to be staying at home for the most part, with the hunt getting eaten up very, very quickly. And by the way, those chicken kills have happened to facilitate the purchase of Hammer of Thunder. So that's going to be yet another dwarf coming through, and it's a nice little boost here on the Hersier, as well as their favorite auto gathering. But for our ISIS strategy, we're talking about Sphinx raids in particular, so that's going to be shown to this house right away. That's an easy kill. Might as well just go for it. It doesn't take too long, especially with the upgrade having to go through. And then we'll see whether our ISIS player will actually make further ones or not. Is the empowerment? It was going for the monument for a moment, wasn't it? Sacred Cats is getting researched, which will increase food gather rates as well. And we've got yet another upgrade. The weapon upgrade is still left, and now in the classical age, the researchers go faster with the dwarven armory, by the way, so that's a nice little perk as well to have. The dwarves can after this just go for the chickens to stop all this meat decay, which is actually pretty heavily hurting the chicken resource so far. Longhouse is getting abandoned in favor of something else. I guess the Hersiers are making another one. He must have accidentally grabbed them both. Got some axemen to support the... Oh god. There's nothing here to beat the axemen, ladies and gentlemen. What are we gonna do? All the infantry units are being chased by axemen right now, and the Sphinx has been upgraded here. Hyraco Sphinx is coming in soon enough. And let me tell you, Hersiers cannot handle axemen. So how are they gonna get on top of the Sphinxes? I'm not entirely sure how that's gonna be done. It's looking rather spooky. From here, you just go up to the heroic age, I would say, but so far it's a very heavy classical army. For our Egyptian player, the Slingers will be helping to take care of throwing axemen, and the axemen are annihilating the frontline heroes, allowing Eumiphanes to go to town. So you could see an early eclipse here, technically. It's not necessary, but we could see it. Bear in mind, a gold mine is available from the god powers here, for sure. So 1,000 gold in that gold mine, rather than just the 500 you would get in the archaic age. If you can wait for heroic, even better, but that's not going to happen. And the 4-player most certainly cannot leave the space. I like the healing spring. That's a good idea. But can he reach the heroic age somehow? I think not. Honestly, this is too far out. This is too far out. I think Egypt can do it in the same time. And we've got now the Sphinx is looking for some damage. They're pretty freaking fast at 6.1 speed. Getting on top of those dwarves. Oh, I think they're gonna get at least 1 kill. That's nice. Could have been maybe 2 with better positioning, but it's good enough. It's good enough to even pick up just the 1 dwarf. Let's take a look at the relics while we wait for this army to come in. It's a constant pump from ISIS, so we're not gonna see heroic age anytime soon. We've got the Black Lotus for faster farming. We've got the Eye of Horus for larger town center population caps. We've got also the Eye of Only for stronger axemen, which would be really good for our Isis to pick up here, or for the throwing axemen for our Norse. We got Tearfing as well, which is gonna give heroes some lifesteal. Yep, the Egyptian army is now going after the houses. That's starting to look pretty rough. These are all medium, right? No, the axemen are still basic. We've got medium infantry, however, for Norse. Not a single raiding cavalry to be seen thus far. That could be problematic indeed, as the slingers hard counter the enemy throwing axemen. Market. And JohnArbiter is going heroic. Maybe with the flaming weapons he can take this on. I could see it. A lot of denial coming in for a little bit of food trickle. But our Isis is now also kind of starting to stockpile. I don't see any units getting made. The Hands of the Pharaoh is coming in. And the priest will be no doubt going to work with that. Bragi is on the way. But with so many counter units, can you actually make anything happen? I'm not so sure. Only thing our Isis player is lacking is priests. Only 2 priests, certainly not enough. Dwarven Mine is getting eaten up, so yeah, our forward player, what you see is what you get basically. Everything has been spent into units, and flaming weapons is going to be in fact an all-in. A little bit of resource trading might happen, but the second gold mine is going to be crucial from here on out. I don't know about casting prosperity on this main gold mine, as it will run out during the process. I think that was a huge mistake just now, as about maybe even half of this god power is going to be wasted on not gathering. Oh no. Nephthys is coming in, however, and we've got a nice little Sphinx raid in the back. You could technically lock this army into the main base, or at least the heroes, but we've got a little bit of frontal aggression, and flaming weapons could be striking anytime now. Oh, he's timed it out so nicely, actually. I was really overestimating the gather rate of the villagers. So only 5 seconds got wasted off this god power. It's really not too bad. That's nicely done by ForevertillDawn. I'm sorry for getting it wrong myself. Very good. Suggestion from Joey Bats in the chat. Triple prosperity is the way. Stay in this age forever. Ooh, the Sphinxes are fighting the heroes. That's not good. We've got ancestors coming in, however, and that's taking up all the throwing axemen attacks. Now the slingers are being microed onto the throwing axemen, and there's 4 Sphinxes doing the spin to win. This is insane area damage going down on that army. The axemen have annihilated the heroes. So many myth units, there's no wall to retreat through, so everything here is just getting crushed. The second gold mine is here. A ton of idle dwarfs, by the way, and there's no way that you can keep that going. ForevertillDawn has crushed this. You know, without any Frost, without any Cav, there's no way you can take this on. I think Frost would have been the way to essentially cancel out at least Ancestors, and then you have the rest of it. But yeah, the gold is now totally idle. And we know where it is, so you get to see ForevertillDawn pulling out of this. No further dwarfs are being made, so I think this is when you should switch to food. The Sphinxes are still going to town on the infantry and killing a bunch of dwarfs as well. The economic lead is now definitely with our Isis, especially with the idols just taking up population but not doing work. They're not productive members of society even. Wow. Back to the mines you go. There's no other mine except this one, which is now 3,000 gold. Good solution. I like it. Back to being productive members of society. Great. Okay, we got the granary coming up. Barrow might get picked, but doesn't look too bad. Yes, that's a great point about what JohnArbiter says in the chat, that you could make a monument as Isis here and just empower it for the AoE heal, getting everyone up to full. I like the idea. This gold mine is already halfway eaten up. Well, oh wait, no, it shows the maximum. It's not half eaten up at all. It's not at 3k. Good little raid, but the kitchen knives can take care of this until the army arrives. Methinks. Still complete map control for Forever Till Dawn. We'll be making a few more slingers, but we're not gonna see any chariots. That's a surprise. Certainly do have the gold for it. Heavy axemen now, by the way. These Mythians are just running down the throwing axemen. That's rough. Basically none of them left. JohnArbiter is holding on to dear life as the tournament depends on it for him. This match is what he needs to win. Moving throwing axemen, actually dodging some of the slinger shots. I think if you can micro that very cleanly and change direction, there's a lot that you can do with that. But the slingshots are so fast, it's very difficult to... It's not impossible, but it's very difficult to do. There's a Sphinx everywhere he goes! It's crazy, man. Oh. It's so rough. It's all berserks. What are they gonna do against the Axemen? Gather some favor by dying? Yep, I guess they do. They do get to do that. Alright, here comes the Migdal Stronghold, and once chariots get added, I don't know how you beat this. Without raiding Cav. It's just not gonna happen, is it? Sphinx goes down. But at what cost? The dwarves now have to work out there. This time there's not gonna be any favor for a recast of Dwarven Mine, costing 100 favor. Not worth it to sacrifice all these berserks. If there was a huge Norse army advantage, then sure, you could beat this with mostly raiding Cav. But that's not what we're seeing. It's all berserks. They're gonna be annihilated. Especially now with chariots coming. I'm just gonna keep up that pump. Unfortunate that ForevertillDawn has given up on this gold mine location. He could definitely bully that. Priests are fixing up some of these hurt units as well. You got the Mythians are going for a raid. Ooh, it's a good save actually, it's a good save. Berserks are now heavy. Well, infantry is heavy, the TA also are affected. We've got irrigation coming in, that will be very nice for the farming operation back home, but ooh, the space, the way this base is built, there's no space for farms. Well, that kinda sucks. Don't wanna be JohnArbiter in this current situation. His predicament is of critical nature. They're breaking through! He can't hold this location, man. A good attempt with making battle boars. If there could be more of those, if there could be 5-6 battle boars in this fight, then I would say maybe, but I'm not gonna say it. This is looking super rough, ladies and gentlemen. There are 2 priests here, they can take care of this. Meanwhile, the actually, you know what? The Axemen have kinda not been attacking there. So that's a rough fight for our Isis player. Somehow, some way, the attack move didn't work. And he's getting super punished for it. The berserks are cutting through the slingers. What am I watching? There's still all these Mythians to deal with though. There's no heroes here, just Berserks. So I'm not entirely sure if this is a Norse hold or not. Like, it's certainly a step forward, but Tot is getting clicked in. Oh my good lord, there's a second town center. You've won the battle, JohnArbiter, but are you gonna win the war? Holy crap. Holy crap. I cannot believe that JohnArbiter actually pushed him back there, but now there's still throwing axemen, there's still 3 myth units here, and as long as there's a single priest, everybody gets healed up again. Never don't make priests. That's the moral of the story. Maximus says there's no way this is for 15k. That's actually true. Today's qualifier is only for 1k. But the actual entire event series is for 15k. So it's sponsored by Microsoft. And we've teamed up with a large crew of content creators to make this happen. So Boyd is also covering, Iron Maiden is covering, Yodesla is covering. We're all doing this together. That's where it's all coming from. Huge thank you to the Microsoft crew for making this happen. We've got... Oh, on the army! I was looking for where the meteor is, but right in the middle of the army is your answer. Very good dodge, actually, from JohnArbiter. The vast majority of it doesn't hit anything. That's unfortunate for ForevertillDawn. He actually kills his own Scorpion there. That was unfortunate. Now we've got a Phoenix. How are you gonna deal with that? You're gonna need Godi. Godi are in a building that we don't see. There's no Great Hall anywhere. And now there's 4 Sphinxes again! If ForevertillDawn just had a little bit more favor, we would see like repeat eclipses on these things as well. But he doesn't have that. So it's all human army now. Need more monuments for sure. Healing Spring getting to work on the army. Man, you're gonna need so much more than what you have. But that many throwing axemen can actually take care of the Phoenix. So ForevertillDawn does have to be careful. Phoenix getting to work, delivering some really nice splash damage, fighting under the protection of the Healing Spring and Town Center and Tower Fire is of critical nature here. I do really like that that is now going on. We've got a little bit of pumpkin picking going up in the north. That's a crazy location for it, but okay. The frontal third Town Center gets taken. Our ISIS player will have infinity population available momentarily, 220 population total. This is almost something you want to crash the party with, right? Now the Dwarven Mine was used some time back. And at that point, it would have cost 100 favor with a 3,000 gold bank in it. Man, JohnArbiter is holding on to dear life. I'm just worried when Valley of the Kings comes through. A man here is gonna just pump elephants and crush this base. Like, sure, Berserks are decent against the elephants, but you've got the full Archer backline and Axeman frontline. What are you gonna do about that? Tyr is coming through. Maybe we'll get researched in time as well before there's gonna be a big fight. I guess you can't really break the position completely, but what we're seeing on the screen. And, you know, with the throwing axemen getting to work as well here, This is not too bad, actually. The Axemen are dying very quickly. Faster than the Berserks. So once again, we've got ourselves a hold, but the Phoenix does get taken down, and the Battle Boar can do this all day. The Valley of the Kings can only come if he clicks it. Well, that is very true. Chat, I love you guys. You're so funny. Alright, the slingers do pop out. Damn, this pig is going to town. It's still going. JohnArbiter is fighting back. Never would have expected the potential of man going this far. He secured himself the opportunity to make use of his 4th god power. That will cause a little bit of chaos. Forced out some mercenaries as well. Killed another Phoenix. Hopefully gets the egg this time. Oh, the boys are stuck. Punk is just kind of sitting back and letting these things happen. The dwarves are now freely gathering from up there. They have no business doing so. It's also visible on the minimap because he does have vision there. Oh my god, his chariots are getting bullied by throwing axemen. What is going... How are we doing here? We've got the full bronze line. Oh my god, the Fimbulwinter Wolves are spawning right on top of this as well, so they'll be helping out some more. They're ravaging the home base. Well, everybody is garrisoned, so it's not that much trouble, and I'm pretty sure they might actually get the kill on this abandoned settlement unless individual villagers get spawned out. If that happens, all the wolves will go and prefer attacking the units over the buildings. You can buy a lot of time with this, but meanwhile the entire army has been destroyed, and the throwing axemen are actually destroying the town center because it doesn't have that much hack armor. Insane. Absolutely bonkers. ForevertillDawn has thrown his army away. And then this happens. Those berserks are actually doing pretty good. And the chariots seem to only have copper armor. Nothing else. The villagers are now getting picked off as well. You know, if you get burning pitch, you can get the throwing axemen to do double damage against buildings. They're actually pretty difficult to fight at that point. Really good raid with the Scorpion Men, however, on the gold. This is going to be felt by JohnArbiter. He doesn't have any other gold income. But he's still working against an 89 to 59 villager advantage, so the game's far from over. But with the huge population advantage, he might be able to just round down this entire economy. Another Dwarven Mine gets cast. It was the only way out of this. Very expensive at 150 favor. The next one is 200 favor. So at that point, I think you want to save up for flaming weapons instead. And get some map control and actually just gather out here. Oh god, this one is just 600 gold. So yeah, this one also you want to secure. This one you want to secure as the Norse. Fighting these champion axemen will not be easy. The piggy is just doing the business. Oh my god, JohnArbiter cleans up the fight again. Absolutely bonkers. JohnArbiter takes the talent center. Guys, I think he has it. I actually think he has it. He's starting to get the Mythic Age upgrades like Berserker Gang, which will allow the Berserks to lifesteal now at 35% of the damage dealt. That's a pretty big deal. They're already winning the fights. Imagine what they'll do if they also self-heal in the process. They'll just stop dying, basically. Now, okay, you don't want to run into this little corner of the map and get wrecked by the Scorpion Men and the archers. Gotta be a little bit more careful with this. But I still do think that this is a location you can take on, and I would really love to see that burning pitch for the throwing axemen, because they're the units that hold this all together right now. Along with the berserks, of course, but yeah, 2 TCs now. Huge pump of units coming out for Forever Till Dawn. But still not quite enough chariots. It's so many slingers. Champion slingers is now getting researched as well. I don't understand the whole slinger situation. Now, if we start adding in some Huskarl as well, or even just Ballista with draft horses, then we can establish a frontal push, such as on this town center location. By the way, that town center is so weak, I think you just attack it with the units here. Villagers are getting picked off, and JohnArbiter is closing the distance in the economy overall as well. The villagers will not be able to out-repair this. The army is too far away to save the town center. Okay, the mass repair is coming through, but there's only a little bit of gold in the bank, so this will be a little rough. I do think the TC does go down here, ladies and gentlemen. TC is down, and now here comes the fight. The villagers aren't helping with the kitchen knives, but they're just tanking. The axemen kind of get picked off by the throwing axemen, but there's just too many units here. And the slingers should be finishing this off, but the throwing axemen just leave anyway. It's fine. It's fine, JohnArbiter just makes new ones. No problem, he's got the income now, right? He's gathering from this home dwarven mine still. Then he's got this one to go for. I still haven't seen Valley of the Kings, by the way. It's kind of insane that this late in the game, we still don't get it, but there's no favor for it. It's like 40 favor, right? So our boy literally can't afford it. Is Valley of the Kings even good? Yeah, very good. I mean, it's 2 units for 1. You might as well save the resources and spend it on, I don't know, spamming Migdol strongholds everywhere. Oh, that's a great pickup on the catapult. What was that catapult doing here? The villagers would have killed it anyway. This is where the gold mining operation started at the moment. I didn't notice it for a second. But meanwhile, Punkstar is just like, oh yeah, let's get all the town centers on the map. It's too many slingers. I'm gonna throw up. I'm gonna be sick. I don't want to be me, but what the hell? This is not what you're supposed to do. Okay, your ISIS. This is the worst unit you can be making. You sure make a few to take care of the throwing axemen in the mid game, but my god. Okay. You do not have electrum bullets from Ptah because you do not have Ptah. You don't have the Slings of the Sun because you don't have Sekhmet. Isis Slingers are the worst in the game. You only have Valley of the Kings to pump them, but why would you do that? Just make better units like chariots. You could actually take on the berserks. I'm still worried that these guys will lose, but just because it's a giant blob, they have a small chance, and the catapults are doing a good job taking down the town center, getting to work on the hill fort as well. However, these Huskarl are actually doing work, even though they're not as great in Retold. They are doing some work here. Slingers are just slingers. They can't beat them. Chariots, on the other hand, would be giving bonus damage against these, so that's why I'm saying they're not as good. Against the other stuff, it's fine. It's the same as the old game. Once again, JohnArbiter fights back, takes a lot of control back as well. But with only 2 monuments for our ISIS player, I'm pretty sure we're just going to see a continuation of what we have been seeing. It's, however, a 280 population cap with 4 fortified town centers. That is the scary part, and JohnArbiter needs to do something about this, and soon. Because right now he's running out of gold mines. He's got a tiny little cutesy trade, but that's really all he's got. Got 151 favor, but it's still not enough to cast the 200 gold dwarven mine. So he's just kind of suffering in terms of the gold department. He would have to sell some resources, which I keep pressing the wrong hotkey for that. He's already done a lot of that. He sold a lot of wood. That's why the exchange rate is so low. Berserk's doing a decent job here with dying. I'm actually not kidding. Dying is not a bad thing for Berserks if you have the money. Because they'll be generating tons of extra favor. The ballista here, just kind of missing shots. It would be nice to have ballistics. Ballista-istics would be very important so that they can hit the shots against these moving units as well. Still need 43 more favor for the next gold mine. I don't think the army can do it, guys. Now that we've got the catapult popping out and this is getting reinforced with further units. Still basic chariot archers, by the way. That's a huge, huge issue. The catapult just one-shots the ballista. It's brutal, man. It's brutal. Town center is under attack. We'll be taking quite a bit of damage. And maybe the army will just finish it at this point. Don't even need more catapults, but 2 more are being made. Book of Thought is getting researched, and we've got the bow saw finally coming in. Iron armor and other stuff is getting trained as well. We've got trade coming in. There's no more units for JohnArbiter. He's actually fallen apart in terms of economy. His trade pump has been not enough from just a single market. And as good as that is working for the European Union, that's not the case in Age of Mythology. A single market is not enough, you need multiple. Another catapult is coming up. And this DC, this entire location should be busted through. And then it's the other stuff to worry about, the villagers. All these dwarves here gathering wood, definitely the next victims of our ISIS player, who will be taking over this location, by the way, and catapulting himself, without a catapult even, to a significant population lead once more. And once that army is reached, well, good luck stopping it. It's just not gonna happen. He's getting picked off one by one. And Forever Till Dawn will be victorious. JohnArbiter is out, ladies and gentlemen. This is it. We've got Chemo's next opponent. First opponent of the day, in fact. It's going to be Forever Till Dawn. Regardless of that show that JohnArbiter managed to put on. That was actually insane that he managed to beat those armies whatsoever. Very impressive for sure. Going up to 106 military pop there against 21. But the larger economy that Forever Till Dawn had behind this was enough to catch up. I mean, you look here, that's a 10,000 resource difference by the end of the game. You can't discount that even with that kill-death discrepancy and the slingers kind of being a terrible unit. It's not gonna be a bad enough situation to do anything about that. We want to thank our MetaPlace website subscribers. Your contribution helps us keep the project sustainable. As we reach higher subscription goals, you are helping us cover more and more behind-the-scenes costs, such as video editing. Check out our subscription page using the link in the description, and remember to collect your perks. We will see you the next time.